Can you see that?
Welcome to the Pit Pass Podcast, Episode 3. Standing here soaking wet. I have, as always, with me, the main host and the voice of New Smyrna Beach, Mr. Ryan Stevens.
New Smyrna Speedway, Adam. But yes.
What did I say? Beach again?
You said beach.
Just
Yeah,
like
I quit. That's it.
It's been that kind of day. But
God.
yes, welcome to Episode 3 of the Pit Pass Podcast here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Thank you.
We have some special guests with us, Mr. John McCormick and Dan Webb.
How y'all doing today?
Bomber drivers.
How you doing?
Trying a little double trouble here tonight.
Yeah, man. Fix that mic a little bit there, brother. There we go.
There we go. That should be better.
So thank you for correcting the New Smyrna Speedway.
Just don't want you getting in trouble with.
God, I can't
Gotta
believe
look out
it.
for you.
You do that every episode, or?
So far on all
Well,
three.
good thing this is only number 3.
Still working the bugs out. You know?
And we do got to let everybody know, if you're watching here live and tuning in, they have called the races tonight.
Just got word before we came on that the races have been rained out. We got poured on and it's still raining. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, races have been called for the night. So
Yeah,
sorry to be the bearers of bad news, but
My phone's going to be ringing probably during this whole thing as I'll be answering. I should probably change the message, too, on the phone that says we're not racing. Right?
I mean, it's a shame. It was a big night tonight, too.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, a lot of racing, and in our division, we were going to have a pretty good turnout.
Finally.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only
Got some
one,
new cars out there.
Jared Zabel was the only one I don't think was showing up because it his wife and his anniversary and
Priority. He don't have his priorities
straight
right.
whatsoever. We already
we
talked
got
about that.
talk
He
about
must,
it.
have, he must have been the only one that knew
Yeah.
what the weather was going to be.
Right.
I told him my anniversary was on Tuesday, and
Oh,
unbeknownst
he
to my
got his
wife,
wife. He got his wife racing tires.
I still haven't told her. We're keeping it a surprise.
Oh, we're live, bud. Oh, you forget we're live.
Oh boy,
We just
No,
told
there
her.
it is. There's the cat's out of the bag now.
I love you, baby.
Well, Dan, I know you've been around racing around the track for a couple of years now. I
Yeah.
recognize your name from past years before I was working here. Now, John, this is your first year, if I'm not mistaken.
I ran one race last year. I wanted to do a bucket list thing, and Dan was nice enough to get me into his car the one time, and I got hooked. Bucket list turned into
That's
a
all it
little
took.
obsession. We've been fortunate enough to pick up some good equipment, picked up a good sponsor, Merck's Bar and Grill. We now have 3 cars running in the division, and it's addictive. I got my son Mike in number 5, and
Don't forget your son-in-law.
and my son-in-law Adam.
Good name. I'm a fan.
Well, he's back out here
Good to see
tonight.
Adam back, and
Yeah.
of course, comes out, and what happens? It rains.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast. It sucks.
But there was going to be a lot
Welcome
of
to
really.
Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
But with all the divisions running tonight, I was looking forward to running our bombers, and being in the grandstands by intermission to
And
watch
cheering on Bobby Holly. Come on, Bobby.
Yeah, and that's
You know.
now that they moved you guys up towards the front of the schedule, it's like it's a bonus. You guys get to race.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
get to come be fans because
and there's a bar down there.
yes, there is. Yes, there is.
But
Makes it more fun, right?
we really look forward to sitting up in the stands with the fans tonight and watching, because there was a great lineup tonight.
Yeah, ProLate model supers.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to
Bomber
mention
super stocks.
dollar beers.
Dollar beers, dollar
Dollar
hot dogs.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
killer.
forget the dollar hot dogs.
It happened to us on the Father's Day special. We did the Father's Day special one, too, and it rained,
Right.
and they called on that one. Anytime we do something awesome and try to help the fans out and give away some beer and some hot dogs and they have an awesome field, Mother Nature's like, not tonight.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. It looks like it's trying to clear up, but it's still raining. It's been raining for the past two-ish hours.
Oh, at least.
And it gets to the point where it's like, is it going to stop before people are going to stop wanting to come out? And it's a tough call. We hate it. I mean, I hated to pick up the phone there. And
I'd hate to be that guy to have to call it, because like you say, if nobody's showing up in the stands, then what are you going to do? And that's a toss on the stands, on the fans, because they're looking at the radar going, they're going to call it. So then they don't show up, and then you guys are stuck, and it does make it tough. But
And
just keep coming out and try it, because I give you rain tickets.
I'm talking.
You get rain tickets.
I'm talking. I was taking your advice last week when you said, "Hey guys, put the phone down. Don't look at the radar.
Yeah.
Just get out
Yeah.
here." And I left the house at 3:00 and in whiteout conditions, just about, but never looked at it. We got here raining, and pulled it up, and it looked like, okay, it's just going to be one little breeze. But it
and
just
then
seems like it's
literally-
just growing and sitting.
It was like
It's
a
split.
line of showers
Yeah.
that just developed on the
Split
coast.
But it
and-
split us, though. I mean, we
right
got
on
lucky
us.
last week. It split us.
last week we got incredibly lucky.
Yeah. Last week I think was the first time in about 6 weeks where we didn't have any kind of threatening weather, and we could just run the show, and that's when it's the most fun. We can just lay back, run the show, have fun.
Somebody needs to lock the door. Rusty's coming.
Track manager.
Yeah. But no, it would have been a great night for racing. I just feel bad for the fans and for all the people that travel out here. Dan had family in from as far
Ohio and West Virginia coming to watch me do that. That thing.
That thing. Yeah.
I've had to hear about this thing all week. I think he's happy now that it's not raining, because I think he was writing a check he couldn't cover.
I probably was, but hey, you gotta play the game. If you don't get in your competitors' heads, then it ain't no fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been working on me all week, so.
Oh, he gave me a little love tap last week and down the front stretch, and it was time to pay him back this week.
So tell us a little bit about you guys' seasons. You've been here more or less each and every week, a couple of weeks on and off. But tell us about your season. You guys have come a long way in a short time.
I think we've learned like 100% compared to what we started out as. I've been running on and off probably since 2000 and never ran a front wheel drive car. And I didn't realize the night and day difference of just a V8 bomber or a super stock compared to these little cars. I mean, it's crazy. And but once you figure it out, your mind tells you how to do it. They're so much fun to drive.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a blast, and it's cheap. And I mean, $1,500, $2,000, anybody can get in this.
Well, yeah, everyone keeps saying $1,500, $2,000, but it is more than that. And I think at the end of last season is where you and I became committed to, hey, we're going to get a team together. And I remember we had a 12-week punch list we worked out, and we showed up here at the first race, and it had a blast. We've added another 2 cars to it. It's fun, it's competitive. And for the working man, it's affordable.
Yeah, it seems like a good hobby,
I just wish Joe and Keith were still out here, because I'd like to, now that I'm learning how to drive it, I'd like to be able to
get
run.
a battle with those guys.
Yes,
They were the dominant guys.
They really was.
1 and 2 every week. It seems.
And that's where I'm hoping we and him are going to be. We want to be the same thing, but I wish we could get some more cars out, but it comes and goes, just like with the other divisions. But it's still fun.
And that's what it's all about, and it's you guys having fun. You guys are helping rally some other people to come out, and that's kind of how the Bombers have been. When I first started coming here as a fan, there would be 4 or 5 cars a night, and that was it.
Right.
But then it kind of picked up a little bit last year, and then it fell off. And this year we started pretty good, and then it fell off. But I see you guys on Facebook rallying, getting Adam to come back out, and you guys getting 3 cars out there now. So you guys have been advocating.
Well, plus we share you guys' post. I mean,
that helps big time.
And we do talk to our friends and try and get them out here to support the fans out here. I mean, we really do try and promote the track. And I've known Rusty a long time. And I think he's an excellent promoter. Yeah.
And I mean, Rusty's won some things like tonight, half off the dollar beers. I mean, I had a whole group from Merck's and everyone coming out tonight and sponsors. And, it's just, we can't do anything about this weather.
If it wasn't for the little tracks, you wouldn't have the big tracks. It's pretty much what it boils down to.
Sure, this is this is the only big track you're going to find. If
exactly.
You might as well go to Georgia.
Yeah.
So,
and the nice thing about it, too, is the tightness, the community. I've never felt so welcomed into your all's home.
Well, that's nice to hear.
And,
there's a lot of times one little bad thing happens and everybody goes off the rails.
No, everyone within this family has just been gracious and made me feel welcome, and I've developed a lot of relationships through this series.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, you guys want to go out there and win races, but if you can make it a family thing.
I have somebody else better than talk to Dan.
That hurt.
But watching, I mean, just watching in a month, watching my son just like gravitate towards this, and now the students teaching the teacher here, and it's just another next generation coming into it. He's got his kids out here every week, and it's fun.
You get him into it, and then he gets his kids into it, and it keeps going right down the line. So,
well, I think you said when him and I finished the first and second, it was the first time you'd ever seen at the Speedway here. Mm-hmm. That was
father and son, and now it's just how long is it till son beats father?
He's working it pretty hard. Let me tell you.
Probably won't be long then.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Michael really has. I don't know how he's done it so quick, but he just drives the wheels off that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean,
He was fun to watch last week.
he is
was
fun to watch.
Really pushing
and,
up. I thought it was a knock the wall down a couple times. But,
You know, I was messing with him earlier today because he's like, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna go. Son, all you need is a bigger mirror, bud." You know, but it's fun messing with his head. But it's fun watching him race.
Yeah. I mean that last week he was racing, looking at the rearview mirror and wasn't looking ahead. And that's what.
And you know what happens when you start pushing? There we come.
Yeah.
You know, I'm definitely still here. Sorry, I've been tweaking with all the live
peeps.
stuff.
All the
Yeah,
peeps.
yeah.
Looks like you might have some announcements to make over there.
Well, no, the announcements will come, but I actually had a question. How much do you think about, when you're watching your son go around the track, being protective that way, when you're watching your son go around the track, being protective or worried about it, I mean, I have an 18-year-old daughter, and I watch some of these young kids out here racing, and I freak out, man.
Mike's been a daredevil all his life. I mean, the kid's broken 11 bones, but he pushes the envelope to the farthest. And now that he's 28, he's getting a little bit more cautious of things where he would hang a ladder off of a tree, off of this, and you get smarter and wiser. But I think he's just got the instinct and the competitiveness, and he doesn't.
I think it's competitive.
Yeah, competitive.
He just burning to win.
Yeah. I mean, he's looking at another car for next season. He just second and third ain't going to do it for him.
No, he's not happy with that.
Go out
at
there
all.
and win.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Now he's hooked too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that's that right? That
It's
you're
it.
just
Oh,
born
that's
with.
It's it.
In.
Yeah, you got to forgive me, guys. I've been back and forth because we streamed live and we started going live. We've recorded everything, so don't worry about that. Everything is definitely there. We went live on a different page. We went live on my Cognitive Rampage page.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, I noticed when I saw certain guests coming in that are always watching my show, I'm like, why would he be watching this show? And then I looked at the page and I went, that's not New Smyrna Speedway Facebook page.
Yeah, right church, wrong pew.
That's what happens when you have multiple pages. It may have been
too
there
many things
myself.
on my mind, man, and I'm turning around. We should certainly be live now. We recorded everything from the beginning, so we'll match everything up, but I'm hoping to see a live stream here, so forgive my mind. I'm definitely been in the conversation, so I'm also trying to play producer and co-host all at the same time.
Yeah,
so.
It looks pretty.
And I gotta give you big kudos for getting New Smyrna Harley out here to sponsor some stuff.
Yeah, big shout out. I'm glad you brought them up.
Couldn't be better to get some new sponsors out here.
Big shout out to Bruce Russ Myers,
Yes,
Harley Davidson.
New sign when the entrance there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Got some more?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we're live.
There we
are.
Now we're up.
Just so now everybody tuning in, the races have been called. They called the races because of rain, just for everybody tuning in live on the New Smyrna page. So it has been called. Forgive me if I'm not answering my phone, but Mother Nature has done us in again.
She has won tonight, unfortunately. And luckily, Dan and John up here have been nice enough to take some time to talk to us. We also have another guest coming in here in a couple minutes once we're
I'm just
finished
glad
here.
we got 3 weeks in a row in.
Yep.
I know we got lucky.
And we ain't got no hurricanes out there.
Oh, don't even talk
still got
about
first
that.
month.
All right, maybe I should have done that.
Yeah.
I've had enough of fun with the
look
one
down
last
there
year.
and see if they got everything loaded up too. Well, by the time we get
Right,
down there.
they should, yeah.
So that's what you're doing, right?
We're letting everybody else do the work. So we appreciate.
Well,
you
that's what
taking
happens
the
when you
time to
turn
do
into
this.
a famous race car driver.
Well, especially after you won the Triple Crown last
right.
week.
That's
Crown
right.
winner last week.
That was I love how you made up. I just went with it. Me and my yellow stripe. You're like, hey, Dan won the Triple Crown. I'm like, hey, Dan won the Triple Crown. I posted it.
Hey,
Then we
there's
got
3 races.
Then we got to
make
think
it fun.
something's got to be for a triple second. So then,
You got
That's
the
true.
first loser 3 times.
bridesmaid for you.
Don't make me pull my Ricky Bobby out.
I kid you not. I wanted to do. We're going to start filming some commercials around here and doing some things different on social media. So I wanted to. I just talked about it in a meeting now, and I scared everyone. The Big Red commercial that he does.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't come to New Smyrna, then
Yeah.
right. And I just talked about it. I got a phone call that night from Holly, and she's sitting with Jane. She's like, "You're not really going to do that commercial. You haven't filmed anything yet, have you?" I was like, "No." They're like, "We can't do that one. It's a family thing." I'm like, "I get it. We were just talking about it," but I moved so quick that I really almost did it.
And again, just for everybody joining us, unfortunately, we have rained out tonight. Mother Nature has won, and still unfortunately sprinkling out here behind us. And we've just how much time it's going to take to dry the track and everything. Management has decided to call tonight's races, and we'll have some more info on that.
I literally just saw every emoji go by because I posted the races have been called, and as we were talking, I watched angry face, happy face, thumbs up, cry, sad. I was like, that was every emoji just went.
Well, I'm thinking since it got rained out, I'm thinking everybody should go to Merck's Bar and Grill in New Smyrna and get some Frankenstein wings because they are the best in the business.
You know, I haven't been to Merck's yet.
You haven't?
No. I'm going tonight.
You got the Frankenstein wings are.
I'm going.
There's nothing bad on the menu. Everything's awesome, great. That's where the locals go in New Smyrna. Phenomenal people, and I think that's where I'm heading as soon as I leave here.
I think that's a great idea.
That's a big, you know what? I'm definitely going. Everybody keeps saying to go to Merck's, and they're like, "Well, hit them up for some sponsors." And I'm like, "Well, I got to go first."
Oh, wait a minute, we've already hit them up.
we're working them on for a couple more cars. Pretty soon, I think we just name the division Merck's.
The Merck's race team.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? We probably should drop the Bombers thing because when you try to hashtag that on social media, you got problems.
Yeah.
I started getting phone calls, man. I'm like, what's this Washington, D.C. number, man? I'm like, hashtag Bombers division.
Well, who was that back in the day that got Winston to sponsor NASCAR? I mean, you never know. It might be Merck's Bombers division, just like with American.
I would love to add that to it.
On the Sportsman, you know.
Hey, Merck's, that's certainly available if you'd like to set If you'd like to set up, I'll come by Merck's tonight. We can sit down and have a discussion about that, and certainly talk about sponsoring the Bomber division as you already do.
That's right.
Man, so before we leave here, man, because we try to get everybody. We got another driver behind you, but kind of give me the background on how both of you got into racing. Really, kind of walk me through how it started with each of you. All right, you get to go first, Dan.
Whew. Mine goes way back a little bit. My brother, me and him started running, just messing around out at Orlando, and then we'd come over here and mess around. Then he started driving a tow truck for Orlando, and we've never done it full time. It was just off and on stuff, just having fun and just move up here, got this car here, did this here, got that there, and next thing you know, I mean, here we are every weekend. You just can't get enough of it. It's just it's a great time, great people, great family. I mean, I don't.
We talked to John a little bit earlier about him getting started. How did you guys meet each other? Have you known each other a long time? Or?
This guy moved in across the street.
neighborhood.
Wait, you two are neighbors?
Across the street.
Awesome.
Oh,
and that's what it was.
neighbors.
I followed NASCAR back from the 70s. I used to get so excited Sundays. I mean, and work myself into friends. You think I was driving a car, and
That's me sometimes.
and you go through life. You're raising kids. You're doing what you're doing, but it's always been a passion. And when I moved in, I was lucky enough to meet Dan. I remember when he bought that first Prelude, and came out here a couple times and watched them, and we talked and had a few beers.
Yeah. It's like going fishing. I hooked him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Got a major bromance going on.
Right.
And it's a part of my life that I have the time. Kids are raised. It's my time now. And
Kids are raised. He's got his boy out here racing against him.
So it went from neighbors to teammates on the racetrack. That's a pretty cool story.
That's a really cool story.
That's what this is all about. Getting in the minds of these drivers.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the neighbors
more
thought
about
today.
them,
We had 4 cars at Dan's house working on them.
What are they doing
Well, that's what I said when he said your neighbors. I'm like, your poor neighbors.
I've had a couple of the neighbors come out and watch us race. I've talked them into it.
Thank you.
They actually enjoy watching us work on our stuff because they're like, we never know what you're going to do.
That's kind of how I feel when I watch you guys going around out there.
Right, that's true.
When we set the paint booth up to paint
that
the
was
interiors, I
exciting.
got this
In
caterer's.
the yard, that is.
Yeah, a caterer's.
Front yard.
10 by 20 with sides on it and everything. I think off Amazon we paid $100 for it or anything. Got it up and in there, and just like today, you know, all of a sudden a 30, 40 mile an hour wind comes around, and all the neighbors are, you know, helping us hold the tent
Right,
down.
exactly. What did he say? Who helped us come pick it back up? All the neighbors.
As they each brought a piece. This was in my yard.
Right,
This was
right.
in my yard. Yeah.
Dude, this has been almost, I think, one of the most like real interviews, like
For
the
sure.
real talking. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. David Rogers dropped some awesome stuff.
I love David Rogers. I've been watching him since I was probably knee high.
Mm-hmm.
I love David Rogers, man.
He's one of the great
I'll
great
tell you,
guys
he
I've
really
met,
is.
man. Actually, everybody I met out here is great.
Yeah.
Well, somebody told me keep interviewing long enough and you'll run into it.
Yeah,
well,
But
people
everybody
have
I've
their
met,
day
Wait a
man.
minute, who's this next guy?
Well, and that's what we're trying to do here with this podcast.
Yeah.
Is to get with everybody. You guys are bomber drivers. We've had super late model drivers, sportsman guys up here. This is for everybody. We don't want people thinking they're only going to interview the big guys. You guys count just as much as the super late pulling through the gates as well.
I
So,
think what you guys are starting to do with the technology you have available for this track is just awesome. I mean, you're getting it out there. People like me and John are sharing it. You know, getting other people to look at it.
I appreciate it. I try to
Yeah,
comment every time. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
And-
you know,
It's all about promotion. You know,
You know,
the
that's
only
what
way
runs
you're
it.
going to get people out here is promoted. so.
Exactly. So we're trying to.
And you
use
guys
these
are doing a
avenues
great job.
to
Yeah,
do
I think
just
so,
that.
too.
And
I
if it helps
appreciate
you
it.
guys out,
Yeah.
get you in front of get your sponsors out there a little bit more.
I already
Well,
posted
we're just
too.
trying to get more money from
I
them.
posted on here.
So,
Well, maybe it'll help. I commented on the Facebook there after rain party at Merck's.
There you
So
go.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Great.
that's where I'm headed there. Get them some Frankenstein wings
Right.
in.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
We took the cars up there, about a month ago,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it had a really
I saw
great
it on
night.
Facebook,
And,
yeah.
you know, just good people, great people.
Yeah, they really are. They're good people, good sponsors, and
Yeah,
they
we'll
enjoy
definitely have
racing and enjoy entertaining people at the bar and grill. So
oh, we'll have to definitely get up there. and
You
check
guys
that
make
out.
me like big race fans. I'm serious. Like
Yeah.
I'm fanning them over here because like I get to see you guys race, you know, and then we come up and you talk to and chat and get to know you guys, and you just you're real and you're present and you're doing it because you love it, and you come out here week in after week out. You all are here racing and doing the thing, man, and that for me that means a lot. Since I came onto the track and trying to do all I can out here to help out and seeing the racers that love it as much and sharing it and sharing your stories and what it's about, but being just a real and upfront people, man. I appreciate that very much.
Hey, thank you again for making us feel welcome. You know, Mr. Hart even goes out of his way to when he sees you to thank the drivers for coming out. You know, and that's
Without
that's
you guys, we got no show. So
Yeah,
we appreciate
that's-
you
you know,
guys
that's
being
just
here and
awesome.
everything you do as well. So
You know,
it's all about the show.
That's how I feel,
sir.
man.
See
Without
what
you
you
guys, we're just a concrete oval. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like having a
With
stage.
grass
With,
growing up.
yeah, we don't want that. That's the last thing we
yeah,
want.
let's
We don't-
mow the grass and get racing.
yeah.
Well, hey guys, listen, we appreciate your time,
Thank you.
especially
Hey.
coming up after we got the
Thanks, Al.
bad news.
We thank
you
you.
guys could have taken off and
Oh,
in the way there. Sorry.
I'm coming after that.
I'm looking out. They got everything loaded up.
Yeah, you guys might be able to just go
Is that
down there
what
and
you're
drive
waiting-
right to Merck's. So.
Right.
That's what you were waiting on.
Thank you for
All
your
right.
time. We're gonna bring
Thanks, fellas.
our next guest in, and
Thank you.
we'll see you guys.
See you
Hopefully
guys.
it's drier next week.
Yeah,
So
we'll
see you
Definitely
all.
appreciate it,
Thank you,
man.
guys.
Thank y'all very much. After rain party at Merck's, I'll be there. Come hang out, and yeah, dude, don't
Next-
have no fear. It was all recorded.
Good.
Although we went live to my massive network on the
Oops.
Cognitive
Well,
Rampage.
hey, we might got some new people to be like, new Smyrna. Go check that out. So
They're like, what is Adam
be
doing
accident,
now?
you know? So let's welcome in our next guest here who's been patient. We have one of our Mod Mini drivers, last year's champion, as a matter of fact, Brad Blanton with us here. So, Brad, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of
Welcome,
course.
Brad.
And thanks for you could have bailed too when we got that phone call. It's the worst phone call you can get. But I appreciate you hanging around, and so now we'll pick your brain for a little while.
Absolutely.
So-
We
I
won't,
heard
take,
some-
won't take long.
Oh man, that's I think you're hiding, man. My girlfriend was out here, and we were walking around the track doing some interviews and talking, and she got some really cool, candid pictures of you and your mom who was out here, and your father who was watching you, and then I got some background info on you, and we got to send you those pictures, man. She's
I'd
just
love
got
to.
she's got this. I'm just so proud of my boy. Look on her face as she's looking at you as Ryan's doing his interview down there, and it was beautiful, man. What was there something special about last Saturday with them being here?
They've been to almost every race that I've been in. I think they've missed maybe 2, it seems like. They just love it. When we started to watch racing together, it became kind of a family thing. And then whenever I decided I wanted to do this, they said, that's probably not a safe idea, and like a lot of children do, I did it anyway. And so once I made that commitment, then they've been on board every single week, and they come all the time. They've already called 10 times to find out if this is going to turn around and it's going to happen. So
That's a beautiful thing, man. You know, my mama came to, I'm a mama's boy. She came to all my football games, man, and she used to show up, didn't miss it. She made a big sign, and she'd always put it up. Love you, Mom. She would put up a big sign with a big tackle on. I was going for the state tackling championship, you know, and she'd be holding that sign up, and it threw me back, and I reminisce back there, you know, and I'm telling you, you got to see the look on your mom's face. It's just, it's a precious thing, man, as she's just looking at, like, yeah, you know, that's my boy there, and Patricia, who people see, if you see Patricia walking around taking pictures of you, she's cataloging some things, but she brought that to my attention, and then I found out that you're actually a principal.
yes, I'm switching to go back into the classroom this year, but I have been a principal. I've been an assistant principal, but I've been in education 19 years now.
But now that is a job that goes unthankful. Wiggle that XLR mic, brother. Unplug it and put it back in there, man.
Having some problems there?
Yeah, a little bit. You can rock them headphones now, man. You may want to put some sanitizer on them. Yeah, that was my shout
There we
out
go.
to-
How are we doing now?
Oh,
Working
yeah.
better? Working
Yeah,
better? All
brother.
right. Good.
Come back to us here, too, if you don't mind.
Use these. Hopefully they're not too bad.
So, I mean, now that's a job that I think, you know, just goes almost a thankless job. You know, my brother's been in teaching 25 years and taught all over the place. Alaska, Marco Island, he's been all over and come back to teaching, man. And for what you all deal with down there and the love and the work that you put in, and to still be doing that and then still find time to race. How do you manage this, man?
Well, it's kind of funny because I think that education, everybody seems to act surprised, and I know that if you're in the automotive industry, there's a natural fit, and there are certain things that even on the fringe of automotive sales that you would have a fit for racing, but it seems like that a lot of people are surprised, and I get that because I haven't run into a lot of other educators that are out here,
Yeah.
but I've just always been a fan. And so it's not been an unusual thing for me, although it is funny how people will be shocked or surprised that a teacher would be out here. I think that it's actually a great fit and has prepared me well, because there's a lot of times when we would get into conflict, and you know, when people get into conflict down there, it becomes emotional.
Oh, yeah.
It becomes sometimes PG-13, gets out of control a little bit, and
Rated R.
yeah, and
With our guys sometimes, for sure.
it's very similar in terms of like dealing any type of conflict. I think that in education, you probably end up dealing a lot more conflict than you do, say, in a lot of the other industries, whether it be automotive sales or whether it be
I'm sure
auto
you
parts
deal
and
with.
stuff.
I'm sure you deal with some kind of conflict every single day, whether it be with another teacher,
parent.
a student, a
A
parent,
student, parent.
probably the parents the most right now.
Oh, my God. The emotional parent in the office. Oh, my God. I can only imagine.
Yeah, and so I mean, like my experiences have been, there's been stories that I could tell on both sides that have been equally, almost exactly the same in the way that they play out in their origin. But I think it's a great place to be. You know, I scrap on the side, and it's funny because when I go to the scrapyard, I had my name tag on one day, and the guy said, "You're a teacher?"
What's a teacher doing here?
Yeah,
That's
Well,
weird.
I would guess trying to pay for students' freaking materials because there is no education budget. Let me get
Right.
political for a minute. No, I'm kidding.
Actually, I was trying to pay for the fenders, put back.
yeah,
fenders on the
yeah.
car.
Well, that would be the
if it's not
question.
for it's materials for something. That's
Yeah.
for sure. These race cars are not cheap.
Yeah.
And who did that paint job on your car, dude?
Herbie Cope.
That skull and stuff on the hood. Wow.
Beautiful race car.
Yeah, Herbie Cope does a lot of race cars, and he is really amazing. He's done it for a long time, and it's kind of interesting because he's gotten to a point where it's almost like everybody wants to have their car done by him, almost artistically.
We should have him on
And
the
very
podcast.
few people really tell them exactly what they want. When I went to him, he said, "Tell me 3 or 4 things that you like." And I told him that I have cattle, Longhorns, and that I have that I want to be number 17 to be the inverse of Ted Vulpius.
Ah.
And then I told him that I really like things that look scary, like, you know, skull and crossbones and things like that. And that's all I told him.
Wow.
When
And
I
he came up with
back,
that. That's crazy.
and I told him I wanted Vulpius Motorsports on there. When I came back, boom, it was done, just like that.
If somebody can pull up a picture of Brad's car posted here live so people can see what I'm talking about. If not, we'll post one.
You probably should pull up the right side instead of the left side.
Yeah, yeah. At least you got one side that's still looking good. But it's funny, Brad. Even before I started working here, if I would come as a fan and the mod minis are running, you and Ted Vulpius were two that I could count on always being here. And I'm sure I don't know exactly how long you've been racing, so maybe you can fill us in on that a little bit. But you have been so dedicated to this racetrack that we had a race earlier in February where it was probably going to be like a 2-car field, but you went and brought every car that you had and put people in it so that you could put more cars out on the track because you care about the fans. And a lot of drivers maybe not have the same mindset. So, I mean, you went through that effort. Wow. You told me it was exhausting to go get all those cars, but you're like, we wanted to put something on for the fans because we don't want them to forget about us.
I was scared to death to put that out there because you have parts and you have things that you are planning on using as backup or to use, and to put everything out there in one day is kind of like putting all your chips on.
You went all in
one roll, and it was a little bit scary, particularly when you're racing against your own stuff. You don't really want to lean on that.
Yeah. So now, if I can get this right, principal/teacher, race car driver, scrapper, longhorn owner, steer owner, cattle owner, and father.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How do you have time?
Well, I just set my priorities that I wanted to be a family man, so I want to be a dad first, and obviously you need to have a good career that you care about, and something that is for me, I've always thought that I wanted to do something that was purposeful, and I thought that education was a great place to be, and so I did that. And then my fan experience really just became it became overwhelming to me to the point where I wanted to see what it was like, and so I did a few of the fan experience pieces. And then when I came back, I got a job in 11, and when I was going to work there, I had already decided I'm going to buy a bomber, and because I felt like that I could probably get where I needed to be financially and probably get where I needed to be in terms of the knowledge base to be able to be somewhat competitive and not get in trouble there. And when I went to school, there was a young man that was moving up to in the late models. He was going to go up to a ProLate, and there were two guys at my school that raced. Anthony Cataldi graduated from Mount Dore Christian Academy, and also Mike Miller's son, who went on to be in the academy, the Naval Academy. So he was going to move up to the ProLate, and whenever he was going to move up, he said, well, instead of buying that car, why don't you buy my car? And I said, well, that's probably pretty expensive. And we sat and talked and looked at it, and they convinced me. And whenever I got that car, Ted Vulpius had built the motor in it, and he had also done a lot of the work on the car and knew a lot. And at that time he was a 5-time champion. Now he's a 7-time champion.
Yeah, they used to be known around here as Mr. Mini Stock, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and so I called him. When I met him, I decided that it'd probably be good to have him maybe even drive the car for me the first year. So in the first year, we had 7 races and with 6 wins, and so it was, and the other one was a second, and it's
pretty good record.
And it was really awesome. And so then from that point on, then I started to drive. So this is my 7th year being in there.
We had a question come in from a fan watching here. Glenn Warren Park was asking, what's the average cost to get started in short track racing?
There is, if you were going to get into, say, and this is probably true of dirt or of asphalt, if you were going to get into a bomber, you could get into that very, very inexpensively if you want to get onto the track. So you could get a car for $400 or $500
and come drive it around.
You could come and get out here.
Just learn.
And you might stay on the same lap, you might not. You could get a bomber and spend $2,500. And if you shop right and you get one right, and if you know someone who will tell you the truth, or you could get some good intel, you can get a good car. It's no different really than if you were going to go buy a street car. you could get taken advantage of buying a street car, and you could buy something that doesn't last and you pay too much for it, or you could get something that's really great. Well, if you buy a race car, if you get somebody who can tell you the truth and that they're not going to be worried that you're going to be beating them or passing them or that you're going to take advantage of them just because everybody wants knowledge for free. If you can get past that, there's a lot of good deals out there. And there's a lot of people that know what they're talking about, and they've got the awards and accolades to show. Well, if you were going to get $2,500, well, then you've got the Bombers take regular fuel, and you can get a pretty good long time out of at least 3 out of the 4 tires. You could get through the season. I bet you could probably race a Bomber season for if you bought a $2,500 car and you paid for just you to get in, you could probably race for $3,500 for the whole year.
I am taking mental notes because a friend of mine wants to get into this race, and I plan on maybe sponsoring him a little bit.
Yeah, and you know,
Good question, though, Glenn.
if you go the other route and maybe get something a little bit cheaper, it's still the Bombers are a great learning opportunity. We've seen a lot of guys start in the Bombers, have some success, and maybe some that didn't have as much success, but they still they gave it everything they had, and then they moved up the ladder. So if you're trying to break in, well, I want to race a late model someday. Start small, get the feel for it, learn a little bit, and then take it up the ladder. You know.
Well, I think a lot of times people get caught up with the fact that they want to see themselves in a late model or a high cost vehicle because of almost like the image aspect of it, or maybe they want to go that fast. If you want to be competitive, you really probably can't take very many shortcuts. And I did not have any experience getting into this. Almost everybody that's in our class drove when they were children out on either little 500 down here, or they drove on some sort of karting series. And I didn't have any experience starting at 40 years old. But I knew that if I could get the best car, the best driver to help me, the best engine builder, the best setup person, that if I was the weak link, that eventually that there could be some success.
And you've had some very good success around here.
I never thought I would win a race. And so the idea that I've now won 8 races and got four heats and a championship, I'm absolutely in awe. And it's about, if you could find a good piece of equipment and then find somebody that can help you in that division, and preferably somebody that's from the area that you're in so you could frequent where they live. Somebody that's a long way off may not be able to help you as much.
Right.
And somebody that it's just like a good mechanic. You want them to be in proximity to you. You want them to be affordable. You want somebody that they know what they're talking about.
Right, and that they'll be honest with you and they're not going to screw you over, for lack of a better term.
And so it's been nice being in this division. And, I would be remiss if I didn't say how much it costs to get into our division. I think if you were to go out in any racing series, if you could find a car, really you can get some good deals out there. So a car in our division, you could go out and pick up a car $5,500, a competitive good car for $5,500, and you could race 2 or 3 seasons on the motor, and you could go all year on a set of tires if you wanted, not really but middle of the pack back. Or if you bought tires, you could buy tires every 3 races, or you could rotate and buy right rear and then right front, then left rear, then left front, and rotate them around. You can find a way to make your budget work and
still come out and have a good time.
And be competitive, and then potentially win a race for some races. So I think that if you have a boat, depending on what type of boat you have, or if you go out fishing, if you have a motocross bike, or if you have a bunch of motocross bikes, you may not be able to do all of your hobbies, but this one really is no worse. I've had people that have said, well, how much do you get when you win a race? Well, I got $250 in a trophy, and I got $700 or $800 when I won the championship. How much you get for that fish you caught?
Right.
You didn't even get a trophy.
I got dinner, maybe.
Yeah, you got to eat it.
Yeah.
I'm not eating the freshwater fish in Florida anymore.
So I think that if you're getting caught up with it in terms of that aspect, as far as a hobby, I think this is a good one.
Yeah.
This one gives back some.
When
you went golfing, did the course pay you anything?
No.
I
mean, and that's the thing. At this level of racing, if you can't go into it with a mindset of beyond just winning money, like, yeah, the money helps. You can get $250 to win. That helps you for the next week and so on. But at this level, you got to be in it for the love of being in it, not for the love of the money, because that's not what this level is all about. This is where we see a lot of young drivers start out and then make their way up through the ranks into touring late models or K&N, maybe up into NASCAR. We've seen some NASCAR guys come through here from time to time, but at this level on a weekly basis, you're in it for the hobby. And those are the people that are here every week, is the people that love to do it because they love to do it.
And you can have so much fun doing this and spend really no more money on that side than if you went to 3 or 4 big NASCAR races.
Sure.
I bought a dirt car, and I decided that I wanted to try that. And I got out there, and they said, you got to take that mirror out. And I said, that's okay. I've been driving a while. How bad could that be? So I took the mirror out. I drove the car out onto pit road, and there was races going on. They do it a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've never been to a dirt race, there's some things that you can't reconcile. They don't use radios. They have, like airplane lights out there.
Yeah, down in the corners, yeah.
And there's a lot of things that are different. Well, I didn't have radio, so I'm out there on the track. I don't have a mirror. And so I'm sitting out there, and they're racing, so I thought I'd be courteous. The car's getting some work done on it, so I decided that I would back up. So I started to back up, and I couldn't figure out why my car wouldn't move. And in just a second, I started hearing just this long, loud wailing of nothing but profanity. And then I saw a man coming toward the car that was probably 6'5", 320.
Of course.
And I was backing into his dad's car.
Oh my gosh!
And the reason why the car wasn't moving
because
is
you had a car.
I was pressing down on him. And when I got out, we had the biggest laugh, the most fun. After that was all over, I mean, they didn't beat me down, and I lucked out because I saw them beat some other people down.
Oh boy!
For
still some tense moments there
for on track events, but they saw that I was new. And we had a lot of fun with that, and they still razz me about that. And so there's a lot of stuff that can happen out here that's not just about, and I get what you're saying, Adam, when you say that you want real stories. You want stuff that's real. When you start getting into that, just like it is on TV, and it's not just vanilla, but it's
I can do the voice real well. So welcome back to the NASCAR Sports Show. We want to talk to you about today's race. It seemed like you were having a little trouble going into turn 1. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. That's the kind of real you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, that's that voice that happens. Yeah, but it's definitely sharing. And we had a little trouble. We actually went off live for a second. We've been recording everything, so don't worry. That mistake was not made twice. So we're back live again.
The whole thing will be posted, and you can go back and see it all again.
Correct. We will post this today, so you see the whole thing. I was wondering if... No, it's okay. I was wondering if maybe she wanted to come down. I had a question or two for yourself. No? No, come on. It's just a question about Daddy, not you. No? All right.
She's scared to death.
Next time.
Yeah?
So on the way up here, she said, they're not going to make me talk, are they?
We're not going to make you. But
no, definitely won't force you at all. Get down here. No, I'm kidding.
We've had some fun, a lot of fun, though. My first race that I won, I really wanted my kids to be here. They live in Mobile, Alabama. And so the idea of me ever winning a race seemed just hard for me to fathom. And at the time, they happened to be here. And so my first race, 2014, that I won, they were here, and we were able to take pictures. And they several of my wins, about half of my wins have been when they were here. I think it's probably because I get to trying a whole lot harder because I want to get pictures.
Yeah.
And so
a little extra motivation.
We've had a lot of fun. I mean, she left a party today that had all these little girls, swimming in the pool and stuff. And she said, "Dad, don't leave me. I want to go to the races."
Aw.
And so,
come on.
Now we've rained out on you.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Well, you've been rained out at the pool party anyway, so
that's right. That's right.
That's cool. I mean,
Summer in Florida.
That's actually anti-sports science, actually. We tend to perform poorly in front of our loved ones and people that we care about. We actually tend to perform worse.
We try too hard.
Yeah, that's what happens. But you actually have proven that wrong. I guess there's a lot of superstition in racing, too, I'm learning. So I guess your good luck charms in life and on the racetrack.
Well, I think by nature I'm probably, and this is maybe the educator in me, I'm probably a little over conservative. And so especially when you spend money and you're out there and you're thinking, I don't really want to bang into that guy. And there's been several times when I was out there that I thought, I'll just sit tight. I'll give you an example.
Last week. Yeah.
I saw Bobby and I saw Jeff and there was a third guy in there that David, I think it was, and they were just hammering on each other
in a heat race.
And they weren't trying. They weren't trying to, but they couldn't get. It was like magnets. They could not pull apart, and you can't go 3 wide here when nobody was going to let the other one get in front of them.
Right.
And I thought, I'll just sit back. And then
I remember you saying that. We walked by, you're like, I'm going to sit back and eat some popcorn and watch the show, I think you said.
I thought, I just didn't want to get up there and get bent up. So then we get to the feature, and I was thinking, I'll be more aggressive. Well, then I went and watched the video of the feature, and I thought, I really just did not do what the car's capable of doing. So I had decided today that it was records or checkers. I was going to really go after it hard, and I was going to really lean on and bend and get where we needed to get. And it takes a lot for me to get to that point, because for me, I have been more along the lines of, and that whole just being conservative like you do in a points race, just be consistent, take it if it comes to you. But
tonight you were going to try to get it.
You were rabbiting tonight, not the tortoise anymore.
Yeah, Ted said if you wait for something to happen, then you'll get those. But if you're going to be good, you can't wait for those. You have to make things happen. And so that's harder for me by nature, particularly when you start thinking about, if I tear this up and if I bend this, then I've got to fix this. And it even got worse after I made them look good.
This coming from the same guy that put every one of his cars on the track at once to help out the race.
Boy, that was that brings up a whole nother point, too, because as you were talking to that previous group, I was thinking about the fact that...
Shout out to John McCormick, Dan Webb.
A lot of times when you first get started in something, you get started in it from the aspect like a daredevil. I used to take kids skiing, and we would go to Vermont or to Colorado and go skiing. So a bunch of Florida kids going to snow skiing in Colorado or Vermont, and they have a daredevil mentality. I can do this. And they start thinking like, hey, let's go try the double black diamonds.
Nope, I'm out.
And they think of it from the standpoint of, like Evel Knievel used to think, maybe I can make it, and people will be attracted to the fact that I'm that crazy or that I will try that.
Yeah.
Well, after you come back year after year with ACLs and concussions, you realize that's not really what skiing is about. Skiing is about, and if you ask anybody from Colorado or from the Northeast, they don't respect that. What they respect is, if you learned when you were little, you learned how to do it. You learned exactly what was the proper
bunny
technique.
sloping for 2 years, right?
Yes.
And then was it the green triangle? Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Yeah, the respect.
I think I know from being up north, but no, so long ago.
The respect is not skipping the steps. And so whenever I came out onto the track, I started to think in that way. I want to learn everything as I go. Well, when I put those cars out there, I did not think about the fact that you can't just throw someone in a car, because I have a tendency to say, well, if I could do it, how hard could it be? Well, then I put some people in a car that didn't have very much experience, if any, and I started to realize, whoa.
What am I doing?
It's amazing.
What have I done?
It's amazing how much the growth curve actually is, because you start to learn, and I think it's a lot like when you have a kid that goes skiing like that. Somebody from Colorado wouldn't do what a kid from Florida would do. A kid from Florida is going to make a mistake, hurt themselves, and get hurt. And we have to respect this. It truly is a sport. It's not.
It is.
It's not just an
Pedal to the
activity.
metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for anyone that thinks it's just like driving a car, like you can just go get in your passenger car and drive and come out on the racetrack. It is not like that at all. I got a chance to drive a buddy of mine's Bomber. I was going to race it at the end of last season, of course. What did it do? It rained on me. But I got some practice laps, and I strap into that thing. I got this big helmet on and these big belts, and I'm like, I felt like I was sitting on the ground, and I'm like, I felt like I couldn't move my head, so I had no visibility, and I'm like, how do these guys do it? But I took it out there, and I drove around the track. I guess I was going really, really slow, because that's what everybody told me. I felt like I was doing 1,000,000 miles an hour, but it was a blast. But it's not like just going and getting in your passenger car and driving around like you're driving down the highway. I mean, this takes a lot of skill and focus and determination. So you're right, when you're like, well, I can do it, so I can just bring my cars out, throw some other people, but then it happens, and it's like, whoa, oh my goodness, that's all my stuff out there with, these people aren't experienced. That's got to be a lot going through your mind.
Yeah, the visibility was probably the visibility and spatial awareness was probably the two biggest things for me. And also here at New Smyrna, you can't just at the shorter tracks in our class, people like to almost like post up. They like to do it like you would in basketball, and so there's a lot of contact. But you can't really have as much contact here
lose
in
control
each other
here
because you just got too much speed going on. And so that learning how to know exactly where you are on the track and then learning where you are in relationship to the other cars is a lot more challenging than I even in a conservative aspect understood, because I sat up here and I thought, why is that guy not doing this? Why is that guy not doing that? Until I ended up going down there, and then I realized, and then I watched myself in the video and go, why am I not doing this? And why am I not doing that? It's because it happens fast.
I thought I heard you use some language when you said passenger car. The first thing that came to me was like, is this like civilian and military talk, to where it's like you can take your passenger car and we have to make that separation. You have not just a car, you have the race car and then your passenger vehicle. It's like saying civilian and
well, yeah, because the car I'm going to drive home with is not a car that would be able to compete here, and it's a nice car. I got a nice car, but come out here, Nick wouldn't compete worth a crap because he's not going to
race Wes in the next Spectator.
No. I think next time he does it, we'll put him in a different car to see what he's really got.
Right? Yeah, take him out of the 7,000 horsepower.
Yeah, his thing that might run with the supers.
I think you should.
Yeah, we'll challenge him. We'll see.
Brother, I appreciate you coming on. You've shared some great information, the background stories, the family orientation that you have that drives you, your good luck charms that bring you on, what it's been like, how you handle it all, answering a viewer's question, too, about how to get started in racing. I mean, I took tons of mental notes on the backside because I'm having that little weird itch that's happening, like I'm going to go fast.
I will tell you this, if you take any name that's out here on the track in any of the divisions, and anybody that does well, and you were to either friend them on Facebook or message them or try to communicate with them, what you would find is they would probably be able to steer you towards a place. There's several places where you can find equipment, buy equipment, find people that will help you, and it's pretty easy. There's groups for a yard sale. On Facebook Marketplace, there's places that you can find the equipment, and it doesn't have to just be on Racing Junk or some of those other sites, Karnak or things like that. There's some sites just on Facebook groups that you can get in to be able to purchase cars, equipment, help people, and find people. And I think you'll find that a lot of the people out here are willing to communicate about that, because we want to build that camaraderie. Yeah. And it wasn't that long ago. I'll never stop being the person who sat on this side. In 1987 is when I started coming here. And we would either come here, go to Lakeland Interstate Speedway, or we would go to Auburndale, or we would go to Speed World. And
we're going to edit all that out, just so you know.
No, it's fine.
I'm
Competitors
kidding.
are friends.
Or we would go to Volusia. It was asphalt at the time, and we would just pick which one we were going to go to and which restaurant we were going to go to before. And so the idea that I could ever be over on the other side now, it's not that far. It's as close a journey as just going down through the gate as it is. You just got to have somebody that can help you find the equipment.
Yeah.
And then you got to be willing to make that. If you're willing to have a boat, now it's the difference will be is you need to work on it all the time. It won't be like a boat where you go park it and then take it and go fishing.
I've owned some boats, and those are work all the time.
Yeah, you got to work. You got to work at it. But just like your golf swing, or just like that, you need to
take some practice and some. Yes, and if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about it. Buy yourself a pit pass. Come out here, buy a pit pass. It's not that much more expensive than a regular ticket. Come talk to these guys. They will talk to you. If they talk to me, they will talk to you. And if they want to race against more people. So if you're thinking about coming out.
I've sold 2 of my cars.
See, exactly.
This year. One to a guy that is the number 77, Dave.
Houghton?
Yes. Mm-hmm. He did exactly like you said. He approached me, and I said, have you ever raced before? And he said, iRacing. And I said, perfect. You just need to take it easy and start off easy out here. And he bought a car that I've won in, and he's actually doing really well. And so he's out here. Somebody else that bought a car used to race here a long time ago when these cars were totally different. And he decided he wanted to come back out and race, and he bought one of my cars. And so we've had several people that have just said, I don't want to just watch. I want to participate.
Yeah, and the mod minis are one of our stronger classes right now, and they've been the last few years one of our not as strong classes. So it's because it's a community. You guys, Vulpius Motorsports, have helped so many people get into it. You have almost half the field now, and you're helping people get out there and get started. And it's because you guys want to race against more people.
You called the race like an hour ago, and I saw they were all still sitting over there. They must be eating food or something because they're all still hanging out.
Probably couldn't hear me, but
Nobody went to Merck's yet, huh?
yeah, they're all getting ready to. But yeah, I mean, I can tell you that it's the same way for me. I was a fan. I just used to come out here, and I was like, man, this place is so much fun. How do I get involved? And I got, instead of going to the pits, I got involved up here. I was just thinking, man, how could I get involved here? I wanted this place is so much fun. And then I saw they put the ad out that they needed an announcer, and I'm like, well, I have zero experience doing that, but I think I could do it, and it'd be really fun, and that's how I could get involved and still be a fan. And so, I mean, it's the same way. I just was a fan, and I transitioned to working up here versus getting a car and going down there. But, I mean, if you love it and want to do it, that's all it takes. Just you got to find a way. So if you come talk to a driver, talk to Brad, talk to any of the other guys down there, and they'll lead you the right way and get you in a car, and let's grow this place back up,
Yeah, message me. I'll tell you the truth till you beat me.
Oh,
there you go.
Brad, I appreciate you sharing your journey, man, and your family even, and your stories, and everything else on the podcast, because that's what it's about. The Pit Pass podcast is about meeting the drivers, like being down in the pits, if you will, and getting to talk to them, letting everybody see they are human, they are nice, and some of them are teachers, and some of them are nice. No, all of them have been great, and really meeting what drivers have to share, what it's like, what to say. I mean, you have people asking questions, so I appreciate everything you shared this evening, man.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah,
Likewise.
Welcome back anytime, man.
All right, thank you.
Hopefully the sun comes out next time and we can race. But hey, we appreciate your time tonight, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of the evening.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks,
man.
Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, so yeah, we didn't get to race today, but we had some great guests and still got a show in. So at least we got something for you guys.
Yeah, I was over here playing Mr. Technical Producer, man. It's all recorded, which is great. I haven't. Everything's still recorded there, and so we have been recording. So for people that were watching live,
we'll post this, and you can go back and watch
Yeah.
the whole thing. So again, this is only our third episode. We're still working the bugs out. Last week we had some problems as well.
Well, once we have our router up here, we'll be all right.
Yeah. I think the internet isn't our friend today.
No.
It's just like cell phone service. When the weather's iffy, the service is iffy with the internet, and just. Man, it hasn't been our night tonight, but hey, we're still out here trying to do our thing. So
we'll keep doing the thing too. We try to start at 3:00, everybody, but by the time I'm up here at the track in the morning doing some work with Rusty, then I get back to shower, back up here. We try to set up. So expect the Pit Pass podcast for the most part around 3:30 every Saturday.
We were hopeful. We had a heck of a storm come through, and we were hopeful it was going to push through, and then we'd start a little bit late. Unfortunately, the storm lingered. And now we're getting some breaks in the cloud or in the
Figures,
clouds,
right?
Yeah, but I mean, they've been working on the drainage.
We got to get you a new XLR cord,
yeah,
brother.
I think it's kind of
the
shooting
cord
out, but
it's not the mics, not my mics. Definitely the cord.
I think it's the cord, but we'll get that figured out next time. So bear with me. Maybe I'll hop on. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Wow.
Much better. So yeah, it's one of those things. We don't want to get everybody here and rain out and send everybody home, and at the same thing, we don't want to get we don't want no fans to come when it gets too late and nobody get to see all the great racing. So it's one of those tough deals. I feel bad for whoever has to make those calls and decide that we're not going now. And
I'm glad I'm not the race caller.
Yeah, me too. Once it's still raining up to a certain point, we had no choice, and that's what we had today. And then it seems like when that happens is when the clouds want to go away, but. Track obviously still damp. We got a lake in the victory lane again, so that's wonderful. But they've been working on the drains down there, and pit road didn't flood today, so progress is being made, and that's the main point here. So
yeah, they put a lot of work into to the drain there. We figured out some things, and they got it unclogged, so you could definitely see it draining today. So pit road wasn't it was more of a stream than it was a great lake. So I mean, there's definitely some changes happening. I was excited to be announce my first races tonight.
I texted you today. I woke up today. I was excited to get to the racetrack. It's been a crazy week, and this is my happy place. So getting to come out here. I was really excited. So I woke up, I texted today. I'm like, "You ready to go, man?" Because it was I like working with people. Last week I did everything myself, which is fine.
Dude, my hat's off to you for last week, brother. I just from down up, not to mention running 18 stadiums throughout the night, up and down, but keeping the interviews going, the autograph sessions, interviewing every driver.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand how exhausting that really is, man.
I mean, it's people don't. I tell people I work here, and they're like, "That's not work." I'm like, "Oh well, yes, it is. It's work, but it's fun. And if you're doing something that you love, it's easy. You get through the walking up and down the stairs, the walking up and down the straightaways, the talking constantly, and it's not a problem for me. Whereas some people would be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. What a long night." I'm just like, well, like I loved last week because it was the first time in like 6 weeks we didn't have any weather issues, and the show just went like it should have. The races went off without a hitch. We got to. I loved having that autograph session. I loved getting the fans to come down on the front straightaway, meet the drivers, and I loved being able to talk to all the drivers too. And you know, like you said, it's work. It's
you're
work,
in the driver's seat now. That's where they stand in.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately, I don't have those great. I could tell you my racing story, but it's really not all that exciting. But we'll save that for another time. But yeah, last week, doing things myself. I've had Wes out here, thankfully.
Do miss him on the mic, man. Your guys' banter.
Yeah,
great.
and that's what I was going to get to. When Wes is able to make it out, and Wes volunteers his time, and we appreciate him coming out. And he was out of town last week, and when he's here, and you have two people's thoughts going on, and we talk back and forth. Usually I take some downtime, play some music, but when I got him up here. Man, we just talked the whole night. We're just back and forth, bouncing ideas off each other. And man, the last time we had that craziness in the Sportsman, and me and Wes were like grabbing each other, like, "Oh, here it comes, oh!" And like you get that camaraderie up in the booth. And
he was down there about to play referee, and you're down there.
I had to play referee, holding one guy back. I'm like, all right, enough of this. We got to get going.
And I'm filming the whole thing, going social media gold, baby.
Yeah, it was. It definitely got noticed. So
yeah, we got an announcement though to read though, and in case to give back to the fans for anybody that was out here or planned on coming out. I didn't realize we have fans, brother, that drive all the way down Georgia, Jacksonville. They drive up from Miami to come here, and they'll be halfway here pulling in the gate and get called. So
yeah, we hate that. I really hate that for everybody.
We got some love to give back. Rusty handed it to me down from the Hart family here that apparently it's Christmas in August next Saturday.
Right.
So next week's a 50-lap Pro Truck. The Pro Trucks are back.
Pro Trucks back.
Yeah, we haven't had them. Remember, we're going to have them on Father's Day.
And then what happened? With
Rain.
Mother Nature.
That's it. So next Saturday is Christmas in August. They're calling it 50-lap Pro Truck. It gets better. $10 general admission still.
All right.
So we're
carrying that over.
Yeah, we're going to stay with the $10 general admission. We're going to keep the $1 hot dogs, and we're going to keep the $1 Land Shark beers.
So we're going to move everything over to next week.
That's it. Except the Pro Trucks will be here on top of the divisions that were here today.
Fantastic.
That's going to be killer, man. And a little note there from Jane Hart and Robert Hart. We love our fans. We love our racers. Thank you for everyone that keeps and continuing to coming out and that believes in us.
Yeah, and hey, we genuinely, we're not just saying this, we genuinely appreciate everybody who comes out here. Yeah. Because we know short track racing in general, you can look at it and people will tell you it's dying. And I don't agree with the fact that it's dying, but we want to build it back up. And
it's just going to take on a different way. Right. That's all.
And we want, believe me, when you all comment, you guys need to get more cars. You need to do this. We hear you, and we're working on it.
Well, everybody knows how to run a racetrack till you own one.
Right.
I was in the club business and the bar business for a long time, and you know how many ideas I would hear every night from the drunk guy who bought enough beers telling me what I'm supposed to do to my nightclub if I wanted a good night.
Right.
Everybody knows how to run a bar till you own one. Everybody knows how to run a racetrack until you own one.
And if you've noticed, if you've been with us all year, we've been trying a lot of things to see what's working and what's not. Rusty's in charge now, and he's been working his butt off, trying new things. We tried the cone thing for a little while. We're trying.
He's got some weird. I love Rusty. I do. I love him very much. All due respect, Rusty. I love him. but he's got a weird side to him that is so funny. And this dude finds the weirdest, coolest stuff that he's starting to bring out to the racetrack. One thing I don't want out here because it's creepy as heck. he found this little ambulance thing with the dummy in it that drives around, the bottom of its mouth moves. It's a horror story.
So can we save that for Halloween maybe?
No, he's just going to have it driving all over, and it comes with a fire hydrant that pops up randomly and talks.
Okay.
And he's bringing out, it's like the rockin' robot or rocket robot. He's this big 10-foot tall robot that lights up and moves around.
I saw we got one of those speed traps now that
Yeah.
I think he wants to put it down like at the end of the straightaway to see how fast the cars are going or something like that.
Yeah, we're making turn 1 a speed trap.
Okay, yeah.
All the cars will be coming and
You
able
guys
to
can
see how fast.
they're going, which that's really a unique experience. You can see that on NASCAR with all the telemetry and stuff they have, but to go to a short track and look down and be like, wow, I thought they were doing 150. They're only.
I did ask him.
I thought they were doing this and that.
It's only 2 digits. So I'm like, how are they going to know? Because these guys are hitting 110.
So we'll just use it for the Bombers because I think their max speed is like 25. But no, I'm just kidding. They turned some laps around here too.
But he's exciting, man. The Rusty has got so much planned, brother. I mean, bringing the trucks back out. He's trying to bring the Sprint Series back out here too. He moves at his own pace and how he can move, and he's got so many ideas, and he's fun to have around. He's a great racetrack promoter.
Right.
I love working with him.
And if you come out and you're like, why are they doing this and why are they doing that? Well, we're trying to see what's going to work so we can implement it into next year when the schedule was already written, everything was already put out, the rules were put in motion before Rusty got here. You can't just come in and change everything halfway through the season. You can try some new things, but people are like, why don't you do this with the rules? Why don't you do that? Well, we've have our drivers who are running for points. If you change the rules on them halfway, that's not fair for the 6, 7, 8 guys that are here every week. Now, we want more people to be able to come here, and that's what we're working towards. But to be like, you got to change the rules and you got to do it now, well, that's one of those things. We don't want to be like NASCAR where we change the rules every 2 weeks and this and that.
And somebody gets screwed. It's 50-50.
Right.
You know, so trying to find, I've realized that's such a delicate balance at the racetrack.
It is.
You know, you like a race car though, right? You tweak a little something and something else is off.
Mm-hmm. And I want for our super stocks, I'd love to see Camaros and Firebirds and all that be able to race out here.
I'd like to see the V6s and V8s back in the Bomber division.
Yeah. There are a lot of things that I personally would like to see, but it's not as easy as snapping your fingers and going, there it is. And you got to think about, okay, we have 5 or 6 guys in the super stocks going for a championship. We're halfway through the season already. But those are great. That's why we're doing the town hall meetings with the drivers, where they get to come in. Hey, tell us what you think, so that we can take it all in. We can put our heads together as we work towards next year. And we're not saying we're giving up on this year. This year's still happening in full force. And I know I'm full force behind it. You're full force behind it. We got our supporters down here in the pits.
We have full force behind us.
That's right. We got new security who already experiencing a rain out. But just
Vaughn said no. Vaughn's like, no, I'm not getting on camera.
Don't believe me. We see your comments. We hear your concerns, and we take that all seriously. We compile that stuff, and we give it to management. Everybody takes it all in. We're working on things, and we want New Smyrna Speedway to be the best short track around, and we're not going to give up until it is.
I'm going to say it is.
And okay, yeah. Hey, I agree with you. For me, I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. So,
and most of these drivers don't either.
Right, and that's why the ones that we have are here every week, and they stay, and that's what we want. And we're trying to grow it. I do as much work as I can to try to get more people to come out. I had a couple of people message me this week and say, hey, we're going to come back. We're going to come back out. And that's what it's all about. If I can help get one car back, if I can help bring one new car out, then I feel like I'm doing something.
Or if y'all listen and want to drive, get your cars out here.
Go talk to Brad Blanton. Talk to Dan Webb and John McCormick. They'll help you.
And David Rogers, dude.
Yeah.
He's a great guy to talk to.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And then it's like I said. I said, buy a pit pass and come talk to these guys. I'm not just trying to get you guys to come out and buy a pit pass. But if you're seriously considering trying this and you don't know where to get started, you don't know what to do, come talk to our drivers. They'll get you. But John McCormick, who was just in here, he's got he's got Nate Holycross's old car, and he goes, when are you going to stop telling people that? Well, that's the truth. Nate just started out a couple of years ago. He didn't know what he was doing. He ran in the back of the pack. Then he got a new car. He got help from other drivers, got a new car, and turned it into a dominating car. Well, the same thing happened to John. He had a car that he was riding around in, getting some experience, and then he got help from Dan. and then he built it up, and now John's got a competitive car. So
And what a great group of guys, I should say.
Yeah.
You know, those two guys.
They were fun to talk to.
Oh.
Everybody we've had up here, and I get to know these guys walking around the pits, but getting to pick their brains and hear about their lives in general is
It's what it's all about on the show, man.
Yeah, and I'll let everybody in on a little bit of insight. As a fan, when I used to come out here, a whole different perspective. I used to sit in the grandstands. I'd be like, that car looks cool. I'll root for that one. And I didn't know who any of these people were. So, like, when there was a wreck or something, I'd be like, whoa, that was crazy. That was cool. Now, as I get to know everybody and I care about these people, when somebody wrecks their car, I feel so bad for them. I'm like, oh, my gosh, because I know what they go through and what they put into it and what their family puts into just being able to come out here on a weekly basis. So now it's like I see a big wad up in the super stocks, and I'm just like, oh, I feel for them, because I know the guys who have the budgets, and I know the guys who have a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And when you see one of those journeyman drivers, one of those workhorses wreck their car, you're just like, oh, I feel so bad for them, because they put so much effort into just getting that thing to the racetrack. So if you want to know what a different perspective shift as from just going from a fan to somebody who works at a racetrack, that's a big shift, because I mean, wrecks are cool, they're spectacular, but man, when you know the people involved, you get a different mindset,
Yeah, we have some cool stuff, actually. They'll get to know the drivers a lot better, not only through the Pit Pass podcast and our interviews and our pit interviews, but on the new website that's coming soon, people. So
yeah, we're working on it.
We're actually doing driver profiles.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so they'll have their car, their story, their numbers. What I'd like to do is I'd like to take their little interviews that we do and cut them out
Attach
of our podcast and put them right there, so you can really get to know the drivers.
Right. And that way, it's more, when you guys are at the racetrack, it's more than just, I'm watching that orange 17 go around. Hey, I'm watching that guy. I know who he is. I know about him. I think that adds to the experience when you know who the drivers are. And
well, then you can go meet them, get their autographs, go talk to them down there. Yeah,
and that's what this podcast is helping with already. Now you know who, when you see Brad Blanton 17 going around, you're like, oh yeah, I know. That's the principal. I know what he looks like now.
That's his nickname.
The principal. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna take them all to school, I think.
Look at you, Brad. You're welcome. You're welcome for that. That's actually a pretty cool nickname.
Yeah, I like it.
That.
Yep.
Yeah, the principal taking them to school.
Yeah, that's right.
Slowly getting fans, brother. Anything else we're missing? We covered a lot. Even Rusty's weird little toys he's bringing out here, and
yeah, you never. Hey, it's like I say with the Bomber Division when they come out. You never know what you're gonna get in the Bomber Division. You never know what you're going to get when you come to New Smyrna, because Rusty's going to be, who knows what he's up to.
Dude, this guy has a collection of costumes. I don't know why or where, but he has Pickett. I mean, he has the shark one he wears once in a while. He's got a moose costume. He's got like a bucket, it's like a dressing room in the thing.
It's funny. There was a documentary on Netflix. They do the Crasherama up at Orlando, where they run like the school buses and all that. They had a documentary, and one night I was bored and I watched it. And I kid you not, Rusty was in the documentary. He was doing something for the track. I think he was doing interviews or something. He was dressed like Uncle Sam. I kid you not.
He
and
does
I'm like, I had to pause it and rewind and go, oh my gosh, that is Rusty. You know, because I know Rusty was a big presence over at the Orlando Speed World back in the day, back before my time here.
Little hint, he will be again.
Oh, all right. Well, hey.
Yeah, you heard it here. The Pit Pass.
dropping the breaking news. But
people know. The right people know.
The right people know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll keep the details.
Yeah.
Hush, hush.
It'll be fun. Well, we're going to start doing some stuff with them. We're going to start doing some pair races and stuff, doing some promotions with them. So
fantastic.
There's
a lot going on behind the scenes here, folks. For those of you who think we're not doing anything and we're not trying, you're wrong.
Oh, it's serious, and so much, man. He does a lot. I mean, Rusty's just a great energy to be around. He's doing so much, and we're done patting you on the head there, Rusty. But yeah,
don't yell at us.
Just to read it one more time, it's Christmas in August this next Saturday. Essentially, we're taking this Saturday, all of those specials, and moving it to next Saturday. And we're adding the Pro Trucks to that. So it's a 50-lap Pro Truck, $10 general admission, $1 hot dogs, $1 Land Shark beers until it runs out.
Yeah, and we'll get all that stuff up online. We'll post the event so you guys know exactly what's going on. If you can, like and share those events, tell your friends to come out. We want this place to be rocking. We want you guys to come out and have a great time.
When I'm on the mic, it's gonna get funky.
Oh,
Dude,
all right.
It'll
be a whole new energy.
Dude, I had 10 boxes of stuff to give away tonight. It's sitting in my office on my desk. I had
And we had
stickers,
stuff from
posters,
some of our
banners.
drivers that we were going to give away as well. We were going to go down and get, and that's the way it goes, man. When you plan and you're ready for like something big, man, it just gets crushed. But
yeah, we're gonna be giving away a lot of stuff. Do we have?
We'll carry it all over to next week. We'll keep the same energy going, and we'll hope for blue skies and no rain.
Yeah, whoever was going to do the chicken dance the best tonight, we have the Daytona 500 banner actually that we had posted. We're giving that away. I got 10 boxes of stickers and things for the kid. Like, there's just going to be stuff raining down. I'm going to make it rain stickers.
It might have rained on our party today.
Yeah.
It ain't going to next week, and we're going to do it again. We're going to have a ton of fun. So we'll invite Adam back on the mic next week since he didn't get to tonight. So as long as you don't bail on me the last minute, man.
Never.
All right, good.
Never.
Good.
I will be in it, man. And again, don't miss it next week. Pushing all this promotion from this Saturday to next Saturday, and we're adding the Pro Trucks. So the Pro Trucks are back. Spread it online. Spread it on social media. The Pro Trucks are back. They haven't been here since we got rained out on Father's Day. So the Pro Trucks are here. 50 lapper, still $10 admission, $1 hot dogs, $1 Land Shark beers. We love you. It's Christmas in August.
That's right. Merry Christmas, and I guess we'll see y'all next week. I'm Ryan Stevens. That's Adam Lowry. We've had fun talking racing with you. Sorry there's none on the track tonight, but we're going to do it all again next week. We'll talk to you then. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care. Beautiful, sir.